As you know, the Gnostics were a group, the word means knowing. They were a group of early Christians that wanted to incorporate Greek philosophy and the wisdom of the East, namely India, into the teachings of Jesus. Well, that was a good idea to me, make it more universal. But at the Council of Nicaea in 325 A.D., all the member church people together, they decided that that would not be allowed, and that was eliminated, and they were considered heretics, the Gnostics, and they were eliminated as a force. And so that's the story with the Gnostics. You still see there's certain people still practicing Gnosticism, and it's just a belief very similar to the wisdom tradition and all of that. But going back to the chart at the first part, the important thing is that with intuition, or the Buddhic principle in our consciousness, is the voice of the silence. And as Emerson called it, the wise silence. That's what it is. It's wise and it's silent. It doesn't come with any noise or any commotion. It just appears at a glance. I can't help feel that we all have a little bit of it sometime. But I think it might apply to some things, maybe problems we might have or something. But for the most part, it's a spiritual revelation. Spiritual revelation. So this chart in the middle gives three principles to our physical being, three principles to our soul being, and one principle to spirit, which cannot be divided. It's totally complete within itself. So that's the nature of those 7 principles that make up our being. And as I said, the lower 4 we share with the animal world. But when you get into the intellect, animals really don't. They have instinctive intellect a little bit, but they're not really, can't say they're intellectual, really. I mean, they're driven by everything in mechanical, as the 4th principle is mechanical. They're told when to breed, when not to breed, when to eat, when not to eat. In other words, they have no freedom of choice, animals, or plants, or anything like that. They're guided by a force of nature that regulates these things. But that's the nature of the intuition. Spinoza defined it as higher knowledge. They didn't know what to call it. It's beyond words, in other words. It's so abstract that it's beyond words, the intuition.
For revelation.
So that's the time.
For revelation.
Revelation. What about?
Well, I mean, it's to reveal things to you.
Yeah, it comes from within.
Yeah.
So I said we don't figure it out. Mathematical equations and things have nothing to do with that. That's all intellectual. The intuition deals with it's the voice of the silence. It's the voice of our divine self, which reveals itself from time to time.
It seems like sometimes you forget something, and all of a sudden the answer comes to you. Like when you need it. When you need it, the answer comes.
That would be
the opposite also happens. When you need it, the answer does not come.
It doesn't always come, yeah. But sometimes you just feel, oh yeah, I needed that. It came out.
Well, that would be an aspect of the intuition, I mean, I can't say that it is, but it's probably related to it. It might not be the pure thing, but it's related to it. It's, all of a sudden you see that 2 and 2 equal 4, you know, it's just, but my experience, we just, I don't know, all of a sudden everything is revealed in its completeness and totality for 5 seconds. It's gone. What's it leave you with? Well, I would say it fortifies or supports your beliefs in spiritual matters. But to be spiritual in our world is not easy, because our world is not spiritual. It is in its essence, but not at face value. It's not. And we just have to go along with it, do the best we can, and retain our disciplines and whatever else that we have. Is there any questions about things? There always is, usually. It's hard, when you deal with metaphysics, it's hard to clear things up because part of it's behind the veil, ahead of us, and it's hard to, with the intellectual mind, it's hard to kind of define all of these things to the satisfaction of people who ask the questions. There are some philosophers, mainly, never had a question answered period, because he felt just confused things. It reduced the vibration, so to speak, what he was talking about for an hour. And you can't answer people's questions anyway a lot of times to their satisfaction. Because it may take another lecture to do it. There's no time for that. But the intuition is the guiding light, so to speak. That's what it is. It's the one thing we can always rely on. No, it's the center part of our Trinity. As you know, all Trinities are holy. All Trinities are sacred. And everything has a Trinity. Science has a Trinity. Philosophy has a Trinity. Religion has a Trinity. Everything has a Trinity. Time has a Trinity. Past, present, future. And when you take the Trinity, nothing is outside of it. It includes, it's all inclusive. Nothing's outside of it. That's why it's sacred and holy. For that reason. It takes into all life, every aspect of life.
Robert, as you said, you had 30 charts. You have made 30
Yes,
charts.
I do.
I think Wheaton should take advantage of it. With each chart, you give a video, and they could be put online.
I didn't know I could do that, did
I think so. Wheaton has the resources to prepare it, and then it could be on YouTube or some such channel.
I might do that if somebody would show me how to do it.
Well, it is quite simple. Now, for example, the last international convention, and even few years ago, the convention in Wheaton, they were on video, and I could attend it through the computer.
No, you don't have to do it. You just give the talk, and then the technicians will take care of producing the video and putting it on YouTube. You just have to give the talk.
Yeah.
We can put it on YouTube if we just had a camera. We need a camera.
Yes, video camera.
Right.
And the chart will be there, and you will be pointing at the chart from time to time.
Right, right.
You did that once up at
It's not hard.
That would be a great way of preserving all this.
No, it's preserved
That'd be
on that
fabulous.
little recorder right there.
But you
But
see,
we need video. Would be
Video
better. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that at Whittier. What's that bookstore in Whittier?
Dharma.
You gave a talk there, and they did put it on a video. Remember that?
Yeah, I have those.
Yeah.
I have those.
Another thing.
Joanne's husband knows how to do that. He knows how to create videos and put
Bring
them
him,
on the
bring him
internet.
over here. Bring him over here.
Yeah.
And I've had some of my charts in the National Magazine. The one on Kant,
That would be
the Theosophy of Kant. Another one on, I should just send them the Emerson one. I don't know what that printer had, but it's hard to say. But
Yeah, the Emerson. That was in that magazine.
Emerson?
Your article on Emerson was in the, what's that magazine called?
Atlantic.
No, the Theosophical magazine.
Quest.
The Quest magazine. Yeah, the Emerson article was in Quest magazine.
Another thing, Robert, there was a TS member who has written a book called The Intuition of the Will. Ernest Wood.
Yeah.
He has that book.
Yeah.
It should be on the PDF by now, I believe.
Yeah. I submitted a poem too, which is really the entire sacred doctrine of prose. That's what it is. But they haven't printed yet. But they printed one by Laotse. He's not even a member. Laotse is not a member. Gaddy didn't show up. But anyway, I thought next time we meet, which would be June the 2nd, first Wednesday of the month. Then usually August, September. We probably take a little break. And, who is that? The
Commercial call.
oh, we get a lot of calls.
June 3rd,
We get porno calls.
Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, yeah.
First Wednesday, that's June 3rd.
June 3rd. Well, I thought we'd talk on maybe Plato. I mean, these are very important people as far as Western development goes. And see what time is it?
7:45.
That's just fine. I talked 45 minutes, that's it. Well, Andre, very nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for
Have
having
to
me.
take the time to introduce you to everybody.
Okay.
But, of course, some of them, that's Erda,
Hi, good to meet you. I'm Andre.
and that's Julie, that's Andre,
Good to meet you.
and that's Deidre.
Hi, Deidre. Good to meet you.